Thank you so much, Chantal. Would you like to give a message for the media before we begin? Let's all give a warm round of applause for our beautiful and dashing Miss Eco International Philippines 2024.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming and for being here. I'm a bit out of breath, honestly. I'm a bit overwhelmed by the love and the support of you all, so thank you so much. And yes, what were you saying?
Yes, so we're about to do a Q&A.
Thank you for that question. Honestly, I'm very stressed. I need to go to the bathroom. I haven't eaten yet. But if you want the pageant patty answer, I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Ooh, let's all clap for our Miss Eco International Philippines 2024. Okay, Chantal, can you take us through your preparations for Miss Eco International?
Well, I'm leaving in 2 days. I'm leaving on Wednesday. So, in these 2 months that I've had to prepare, I have worked on my advocacy, which I'd love to tell you a little bit more about later. I have worked on my styling. As some of you may know, I've been styling myself, which hence this wonderful piece by Edward James Castro from Origin. Shout out to you all. And yeah.
I love it. So how have you been prepared in terms of like your physical or mental, emotional? How are you prepared holistically? I'm sure they want to know that.
Well, I've been hitting the gym. As many people know, I struggled with being underweight a little bit. Some people say I look almost a bit malnourished sometimes. So I've really been making an effort and going to the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week just to prepare physically, because I know that pageants are very taxing on the body, and also mentally by journaling and praying, of course, and whatever happens in Egypt, I hope to make you all proud.
I love it. How about in terms of passerella, Q&A? You've been training with, I'm sure the Q&A trainer, one of the trainers of Q&A is also here watching.
So, yes, for passerella, I've been training with, of course, CJ Okiaza and Billy Hackinson. So, of course, I also have my previous training from Coach Louie from Aces and Queens. So, these people have been working so hard to bring out the best of me. And I think in these 2 months of preparation, I've seen more improvement than I have in my 2 or 3 years of pageantry. So I'm so excited for you all to see it. I've shared a little bit of a sneak peek on my Instagram. So yeah, I can't wait for you all to see, especially the swimsuit when I'm in Egypt for the resort work competition. And then for Q&A, of course, I have Tito Jerry over here. Shout out to Tito Jerry. Tito Jerry has really been so hands-on with the girls of Aces and Queens, and he has really brought out the best in me. He's brought me so much wisdom, and he has taught me that there's so much power in my voice and my individuality. So thank you, Tito Jerry.
Do you want to thank other people in your preparation, or you've mentioned all of them? Okay.
So of course, I would like to thank Aces and Queens, Origin Management, and Aces and Queens specifically, Mami Maiki, Mateo, Sir Jim, all of them have been so pivotal in helping me prepare for this pageant. And I would also like to thank Team Origin, who can't be here today, but of course they organized this look for me, and they have been, of course, my kind of guiding light in this journey of mine.
Alright, thank you so much to everyone who has helped Chantal. It really takes a village to raise a queen. So now that the pageant is really happening in a few days. What do you hope to showcase during that pageant?
Well, I find that there's a lot of misconception about Miss Eco International. I find that a lot of people perceive it to be very environmental based, which yes it is definitely, but not a lot of people understand that benefiting and supporting and protecting the environment goes in so many different ways. So that could be through your wardrobe, through sustainable fashion, which is something that I've always pioneered, of course. It could be by supporting a fair trade organization, which is in line with my advocacy, which we'll be talking about in a bit. And yeah, there's so much that I want to show with you about Miss Eco, so much that is misunderstood in fact, and I'm very excited to show you all the true nature of the competition.
And Chantal, you mentioned your advocacy. Can you share more about it to our media friends?
So, I have always been known as kind of the mental health girl, and while that is something still very true and dear to my heart, I have sort of narrowed it down a little bit more to fashion, fair trade, and sustainability. So for those of you who don't know what fair trade means, it's when people, or rather workers, are paid adequately for their work, where things are sourced sustainably and in a way that nobody is harmed and everybody benefits. And I do this with an organization based in Mindanao and Pagadian City called Juana, which is a bag and accessories brand and a livelihood program for women in impoverished areas. So this gives women are quite literally given the tools, the training, the materials to craft and weave these bags to then have an income, to have a livelihood, to then enable them to make their own decisions in life, to not have to be reliant on their partners. And this also enables women to have more autonomy in their decision-making processes about their lives, about their children also. And I find that in our modern day society, as a woman, you are often limited to your job and your children. You cannot do both. You must choose between the two oftentimes. And this gives a woman the option to work while taking care of their children. And with that in mind, these women then have the opportunity to build a livelihood for themselves, to have savings of their own while taking care of their children. Neither of those has to be neglected. And this uplifts women and protects women. And with that also, you give these women the option that if they're happy with their lives, they can proceed with their lives as is. But if they want to better themselves, they no longer have to choose between children and livelihood. So that is something that's always been dear to my heart as a woman and as a feminist, of course. So yes, that's my advocacy.
Thank you so much, Chantal. Just one more question from me before I open the floor for the media later on. Any message for the pageant fans as you vie for the third Miss Eco International crown for the Philippines?
I mean, I know it's always cliche to say thank you, but I want you to know that my gratitude has no ends right now. Just seeing all of these faces, like Olympia, Isa, Anthony, all of the familiar faces, seeing my friends, I'm gonna cry. So I hope you know how grateful I am for all of you. You can see it in my face. I hate to be the emotional one, but Sir V, Sir Paulo, they all know that I'm always crying. And that just shows that I'm so grateful for you all, and I want you to know that. I want to thank Sir Adam, who discovered me. I want to thank Jel, who's the admin of my page. Jel, where are you? And I want to thank Tita Alma, Charissa, Alder in the back. I want to thank you all. Thank you for coming. Thank you to Darren also, I love you. And all of the Team Empire, thank you so much. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. So yes, thank you all. I'm so grateful.
And of course, today is really a celebration of your journey and also an expression of our love and support. And we want to, give you and express our messages now so that you can feel our love. So we'll start with our Miss Supranational Philippines celebration.
Internationally, are you hands-on with the collaboration with your designers from your national costume up until your designer in evening gown?
Yes, so actually, a lot of my wardrobe is from designers I've personally met and worked with. So, for example, I have one very young designer. His name is Emma Nunioza. He actually just graduated, and we worked together for a fashion show where he had to get into a dress. Then I have other young designers from Cebu worked with for other fashion shows. So these are all personal connections that I personally reached out to, and it was such a beautiful sort of pathway that was forged because not only am I these personal connections, but I'm also giving an opportunity to these young and upcoming designers to kind of pave the way for a new generation of artists. And in that sense, I've been very, very hands-on. Also with my evening gowns, which of course, did by Balta Cuba, none other than. And I love him so much. I admire his work so much because he really takes the girl and the wearer into account as well. I had so much of a say in it, and I was able to give a sort of creative direction that I wanted to go in as well. Same with my national costume. Shout out to Chino from Bacolod, who's making my national costume, as well as my eco costume, which is made by Axel, none other. And yeah, these are all people that I have a personal connection that I've reached out to personally and handled this myself. And of course, I have Edward, James Castro, I have Mami Mikey, I have Tatayo from ACES also. But they were really allowing me to do this on my own. If at all, I would just say, hey, could you lend me this? Could I borrow this? But never at one point did I entirely rely on them. And that's something that I'm very proud of myself too.
Thank you, Chantal, and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Chantal. Kuya Ethan from Manila Center.
Hello, I love your tie.
First of all, best of luck for this international competition.
Thank you so much.
My first question, we're experiencing heavy, scorching heat every day. So how can you teach people, especially the young ones, to be more ecologically aware and friendly?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, sustainability has a lot to do with accessibility. That could be accessibility to the right technology, but also accessibility to education. I think education is really, really important because the reality of our situation is we cannot demand for people to invest in solar energy. We cannot demand for people to invest in all these really expensive, technology. But what we can do is make people aware. Make people aware to save water, to maybe turn off the aircon, to turn off the lights once in a while, but to also maybe educate all of us on perhaps how we can advance in terms of agriculture and how we can protect, for example, the farmers in this scorching heat, the people that are working outside. It's all a cycle, and I think that cycle needs to not just be preserved, but it needs to be highlighted, it needs to be taught, and we really need to know the gravity that if this cycle is tarnished in any way, shape, or form, then all of us will fall with it.
Follow-up and last question, Chantal. How can you teach this generation, the Generation Z, to be more nation-loving, to be more patriotic? To be more nation-loving, to be more patriotic?
Well, as someone who grew up abroad, I always had a sense of longing for the Philippines. I had a sense of pride. Like, I vividly remember when I was watching TV in Germany, I was the only Asian child. My Asian representation growing up was on. She's not even Filipina. Like, that's how much I felt like I didn't belong. Up until I was watching TV, and I saw a TV show, and it was Weird Foods of the World. And lo and behold, it was halo-halo that was being featured. And I got up, I was screaming. I was like, Mom, you have to see this. It's the Philippines, it's our country, it's our Filipino pride, it's our identity. And I just want to tell the youth youth out there that maybe want to leave the Philippines or don't feel that sense of belonging, that there are kids abroad who would live and dream and die to come back here. And I know, for example, a lot of the beauty queens that come back to the Philippines, they get shamed for it because it's like, oh, you're just here for a pageant, you know? But what people don't know is that the sense of longing that you feel abroad is so strong. Once you arrive, you feel like you belong. And just like that, I would encourage people to, of course, shop locally. I know there's a bit of a stigma, for example, in Filipino fashion that, it's the native and the tribal and the old silhouettes and Maria Clara and Lerna, which are all beautiful, don't get me wrong. But I find that to instill love in our culture is to involve more people, to involve the youth. And in doing so, we can modernize, for example, Filipino fashion. And I'm very excited for you all to see my departure look and my arrival look, for example, because those are very modern takes on Filipino fashion. And I find that in the age of social media, it's so easy to go viral, and it just takes one amazing look, for example, in terms of fashion. It takes one amazing look, one amazing outfit for young people to say, oh my God, that looks amazing. Add to cart. It's that easy nowadays, and I think that's why my advocacy is so timely, to promote national and younger artists and local artists, to give them a platform too.
Thank you. And speaking of fashion, you get great style today. Please keep it up and we'll wait for your more pasado.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. We have one more slot for a question for Chantal. Who would like to ask a question?
Adam.
Hey, Adam Schmidt. You're the lucky one.
Hi Chantal, you mentioned earlier that you're comforted in the sense that you look like the prototype. So I wonder, have you sought advice from your predecessors regarding what to do for your upcoming competition? Do you somehow feel pressured because you've been quite doing well in the pageant?
Well, just something about me is that I always feel pressured. I'm always nervous. I'm always a thinker. I'm always an overthinker. So that's just a given to me because I want to be prepared in all aspects. But I feel a sense of comfort that we have done so well in Miss Eco International because that means that the organization sees us for our worth. I believe that all of the girls previously said were such amazing caliber, such high caliber too. So with that being said, to answer your question, yes, I did seek out the advice of Ashley Subihano, of course, of Kathleen Payton, and Cynthia Camalia. And in particular, Kathleen was prepared in all aspects. But I feel a sense of comfort that we have done so well in Miss Eco International because that means that the organization sees us for our worth. I believe that all of the girls previously said were such amazing caliber, such high caliber too. So with that being said, to answer your question, yes, I did seek out the advice of Ashley Subihano, of course, of Kathleen Payton, and Cynthia Camalia. And in particular, Kathleen was such big help to me because I remember even years before I even joined Miss Philippines, and years before I was even crowned as Miss Eco International Philippines, we were in a Grab together. We were stuck in traffic for 2 hours going from Quezon City to BGC. And for those 2 hours, I was grilling her. I was asking her, what are they like? What have you done? What is your plan? How did you win this? What was your strategy? And it's funny because it was such a very full circle moment because after I was crowned, she messaged me again and she said, I'm here for you. Any question? And yes, I bombarded her with questions. I asked her about the organization. And Kathleen told me that Miss Eco International really seeks girls who are above all kind and easy to work with. And they like girls who are, very independent. Because, of course, abroad, you can't always have a glam team with you. You can't always have someone to hold your hand. There's no direct abroad. So, yeah, that's something that they really look for in a girl. And that's something that I've internalized because, as I mentioned, I practically do everything on my own. I'm a bit of a control freak, so that kind of works out for me. And yeah, that's the advice that Kathleen gave me, and also Ashley and Cynthia gave me such wonderful emotional support also. And if only I had more time, I would have asked them so much more. So yes, hope that answers your question.
Alright, thank you. Last question. What strength do you think you have that can make you win our third Miss Echo International title?
Definitely versatility. I am not just a beauty queen, although beauty queens are so strong and powerful in their own right. I am, of course, a lawyer, an aspiring lawyer, I mean. I am an aspiring stylist. I am a teacher. I am, what else? I'm my own makeup artist. I'm my own hairstylist, although for today I would like to thank Mix Institute of Beauty for helping me out a little bit. And yes, so there are many hats that I wear, and above all, I believe that I can benefit the Miss International organization by not just working for them, but working with them. And I feel that I could really play a big role in the organization if they would allow it.
I hope it will come through soon. Thank you very much, and good luck, Chantal.
Thank you everyone for your wonderful and thought-provoking question. I remember even years before I even joined Miss Philippines, and years before I was even crowned as Miss Eco International Philippines, we were in a Grab together. We were stuck in traffic for 2 hours going from Quezon City to BGC. And for those 2 hours, I was grilling her. I was asking her, what are they like? What have you done? What is your plan? How did you win this? What was your strategy? And it's funny because it was such a very full circle moment, because after I was crowned, she messaged me again and she said, I'm here for you. Any question? And yes, I bombarded her with questions. I asked her about the organization. Kathleen told me that Miss Eco International really seeks girls who are above all kind and easy to work with. And they like girls who are very independent, because of course abroad you can't always have a glam team with you, you can't always have someone to hold your hand, there's no diary abroad. So yeah, that's something that they really look for in a girl, and that's something that I've internalized, because as I mentioned, I practically do everything on my own. I'm a bit of a control freak, so that kind of works out for me. And yeah, that's the advice that Kathleen gave me, and also Ashley and Cynthia gave me such wonderful emotional support also. And if only I had more time, I would have asked them so much more. So yes, hope that answers your question.
Alright, thank you. Last question. What strength do you think you have that can make you win our third Miss Echo International title?
Definitely versatility. I am not just a beauty queen, although beauty queens are so strong and powerful in their law school first, and who knows, what if it's a waste of time, what if it's a waste of money. And then I did a fashion show in Manila. It was for Michael Leva, and all of the 2021 Universe Philippines queens were there. Bea, BBB, Steffi, yeah, I believe those were the ones that were there. Also Maureen Robowitz. And that day, I remember, I was so exhausted, and I was so tired. But before going to sleep, I opened my phone, and I had so many messages. Hey, Adam G posted you. And I was like, no, this has to be a joke. And so I looked it up, and truth be told, I was there. And I remember there was such a sweet message too, like, wow, she has really great modeling skills. I hope to see her on the stage, on the pageant stage soon. And I sent that to my mom, and I said, maybe I do have potential, And she said, okay, fine. So if it was not for Adam, I might not even